Hello all, and welcome to DAT 1321, which is Fundamentals of 3D Graphics. So in this video, because we have limited class time, as explained here, a little bit in the hybrid virtual class situation, there's some housekeeping stuff I want to go over now. So this will be posted on a video directly after class, hopefully answering a lot of those sort of organizational logistical questions. So to get right to it, we are going to be on Blackboard a lot. It is kind of where we do everything. And you can see I've already posted a few things here. More on getting Maya in a little bit. So the key things that we will be using in Blackboard, the first of which is announcements. So every week, I actually have the old class up here. There will be videos and information posted. Don't worry, these are all very short. And we'll talk about what they are in a minute. There might also just be some info about a snow day, or yes, here we go. Campus was closed. How to handle making up that time, or oh, this happened, and here's something that's gonna here's some more information for you. So this is all going to be anything that you need to know is going to be posted to announcements. It's also going to be automatically sent to you at your school email. It's super important we keep track of that. All right. Also listed here is our syllabus, which is a PDF. So you can see my email address there. When I type it out, I say nvcc.comnet.edu. It's the same thing. For some reason, the long one seems to work better. This is our class time. We are on. Ooh, this is incorrect. We are on Wednesdays. That's my bad. I will fix that very soon. We are in L303. And, course description, learning outcomes, et cetera, are all on here. There is no book for this class. Required materials are some way to store your work. That can be a flash drive, that could be a discrete hard drive, it can be an online drive, but you are responsible for storing your own work. Um, and then there is a percentages breakdown on here. You can see in-class participation, which we'll talk about later, is only worth 15%. The rest of it is the stuff that you do. Half the class is your just regular weekly assignments, so we want to keep up with those. And then the midterm and final projects, which take more than 2 weeks. Like each of them is a couple weeks long. Um, but those are a substantial portion of your grade as well. And these things are weighted by being worth more or less points. So you don't get 100% on something and then it's weighted or something. It's just some things are worth 20, 25, 50 points to kind of make the math a little bit easier. This is our week to week to give you an idea of the schedule. This is not sacrosanct. This may change. Like I said, we could have snow days. There could be a power outage. There's also, I could decide, nah, we're dropping this. We're gonna move something else. But this is to give you a general idea of how the semester will go, and you can see that the in bold is the assignments. Now the ones that say in class, those are smaller, right? So there's less to do. So don't think there's like a midterm assigned and a major assignment at the same time. This is the days that they are assigned, except for the midterm and final. They're usually due the next week. Um, and there will be descriptions online. But this is just to give you a general idea. It's a lot packed in to the beginning of class. And this is all sequential. You learn one thing and then you learn the next thing. So if you have any troubles at all, please, 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 please email me. This phone is not my phone number. I don't have any office at the school, but email is the best way to get in contact with me. And it's best that you keep up with that as much as you can, as soon as you can. Oh, also, we have a spring break. And it's well timed actually because we are working on our midterm and you have the break kind of like right before the midterm is due. After would have been better, but that's okay. And so it gives you a little bit more time not to work on it. Your spring break is supposed to be break, but you got a lot of flexibility with when you work on this because of that extra week, and give you a little bit of a breather. And whenever we have a midterm, I do not assign anything that class. So once your midterm is due, there's no homework due. The midterm and final projects, these are listed as purple because when they're due, we have a critique. That class is worth more points. We'll talk about the specifics later, but those are kind of unmissable. There's really no way to make up not being at those classes. All right. Next up, we have, stand by. Sorry about that, but through the power of pausing, I was able to make the virtual classroom live. So this class is an online class. I believe it says at the top of your thing, online and in classroom. So I explained that briefly here, the virtual in-person part. Here's how this works. If you do not have a computer at home, or if you prefer working in person and seeing the human who is talking to you, I will be there every week in L303, permitted, barring a catastrophe like last semester I broke my leg. So this is there for you with computers, with Maya on them, ready to go if you would like. If you are going to take this class virtually, you will do so through the virtual classroom. Presumably, you have seen this in your prior classes, but it'll be here under virtual classroom. It's the same Collaborate Ultra system you've seen before. It says it starts at 3:30. I do that so that you could just be open, like so that you can get in there. Class does start at 3:45 this semester. All right. And it lists all of them. One of these I'm going to have to delete for our spring break, but you should see all of them in here. Um, these, once we're done with class, it takes maybe an hour for it to get posted. It just kind of depends on how much processing power this whole system has. You go to hamburger menu recordings to see any recordings. It will show you the past 30 days. If you need to go back further than that, you need to specify recordings in a range and specify that range. All right, so we will start right at 3:45. Um, and it would be very helpful for me and for the department head and for the people who run the facilities if you guys could email me um to let me know generally what you intend to do. A lot of people might come in the first day and then not go anywhere else, but if you could let us know when, like, what you intend to do most of the time, so that we can just know how many people are planning to be there versus how many people are planning to be virtual. All right. So the other thing we need to address is this hybrid situation. This class is the majority of the class time is now is synchronous, meaning we are 3:45 to 5:15. That is class. There is a lecture. There is time for questions, right? So there's time to go over things. But it's shorter than your other classes in this situation. We went hybrid with this class because with virtual learning, walkthroughs are just very, very different. This is a very technical course. There's a lot, most of the homework has walkthrough videos that go with it. So what we do, and this is again, this is the previous semester's announcements page. But what will happen is you'll get to a week and there will be part of the lecture, the walkthrough part of the lecture will be an asynchronous video that you watch, and you watch it at your own speed. And we chose this part to be asynchronous because it's the part that everyone goes at the most different speeds, right? So these walkthroughs to get you started on your homework, some folks might watch it once and then just start the homework. Others might need to like watch it, pause, watch it, pause, watch it, pause, or rewatch it. Um, and communication over the virtual sphere through the Collaborate Ultra, that can be tricky, it can be stilted, it can be time consuming. So that's why this part has become asynchronous. So let me explain kind of how this will work on a regular weekly basis, excepting week one, because week one is just we're getting started. In all of these other weeks, there's a thing we're going to go over: components and views in week two, modeling toolkit in week three, and that will be in class. So you'll be in the virtual class, you will go to Collaborate Ultra, you will go into your classroom, and I will talk and display things, and you guys will ask questions, and we'll talk about concepts, right? We'll talk about how things work. You'll get your hands moving on the software, or you'll take notes. Everyone works differently. But these things that are listed here, you'll simply be learning about them, right? We'll be learning the concepts and tools. Then you will be assigned a homework assignment, and those will be posted here. Actually, let me show you an actual assignment. Da-da-da. I'll show you an earlier assignment so it's not quite so overwhelming. So here's the solar system, here's the decorative box, right? And, I list what we did in class, right? And then here's the things that you would do on your own. Again, things that are done in class, things that you do on your own, and sometimes there won't even be anything done in class. Today we learned these tools, that's the lecture. For homework, you will make a thing, right? But of course, especially for the first time we're working in 3D, that's a lot to just like do out of thin air. And that's where the um, asynchronous videos come in. So in the pre-COVID days, when we would have everyone in class for 3 solid hours, that second half of class would be I would walk you through getting started. That's what these videos are. These are steps to take towards that homework. Um, and again, you can go at them at your own pace. They're not very long. I know it looks overwhelming with the number of them. I make them really like kind of short and discreet so that you can just go to that one and be like, oh, I need to remember about extruding, and I can just, you don't have to skim through a video. Some of them may also have PDF tutorials. Please don't download or look at this too closely yet, because I might have to edit it, right? So different forms of information for different types of learning. But both these videos and the synchronous class portion are part of this class. The two of them combine to make a full regular 3-hour DAT class. And so you need to do both. I will know if people are skipping these videos. It will be obvious in your questions that you're asking, or in the homework that you're handing in that is not done correctly. And I'll have a different video that talks a little bit more about homework expectations. That will be the second video today. All right, let's see. One thing I can show you. Let's hope this doesn't make noise. There we go. All of these videos, these asynchronous videos, they are on my YouTube channel. They do have sort of the auto-generated closed captions. Um, but my channel has several different playlists, including, although I may not have renamed it yet. No, that's not what I want. Playlists. If only I knew my way around my. There we go. So this is 3D graph. I need to change the name of this, but this is fundamentals of 3D graphics, and you can see all the videos here. Many of these we won't be using. Some of this might be out of date, but a lot of these we will be using because it's the same basics that have existed for a long time. And so if you ever wanted to just like go trolling around and see what else is in there, you can see it there. Don't take until I post it here, don't take it as sacrosanct or as part of the expectation, because I can change things. I might change my mind on how the assignment's going to go, on what I include, and on what I expect from you. So we will see how that goes throughout the semester. But what this means is, and this is a little bit more of an advanced class, you're going to be working independently to an extent. Yes, you'll be in class, hopefully, you'll be asking questions then, but it's a week off between classes. You're going to be watching some of these on your own time, like you need to schedule that. And when you have questions, please do not wait until the next class, because your homework is almost always due right at the start of the next class. Ask me the question now. Like, if we have class on Wednesday, you have a question on Friday, ask me Friday. Um, email me. I leave my email out everywhere because I hope people will send me a question. I promise I'm not mean. But a week is an eternity. And if we get to that virtual classroom and it's 3:45 and everyone starts peppering me with questions of stuff that they figured out throughout the week, that's the wrong time to ask that question. All right. So it does mean sitting down and writing an email, which I know is hard, but it's much better than stalling the entire class, and it's much better than letting your homework come in late, because if you wait until Wednesday at 3:45, your homework is now late. All right. Oh, another thing that is in here. Some of this I'm going to go over in the other video, but if you need an accommodation, like an official accommodation, please contact the Disability Services Office as soon as possible. Please get your accommodations as soon as possible. It's super super important. I cannot make accommodations for people in terms of stretched deadlines and things like that without an official listing. It also just helps to know. I mean, we try to write out all the assignments and have everything the information given in as many ways as possible. But it still helps to know what's going on with you guys, and you are owed this. If you have a disability, you are owed this these accommodations and this assistance by the school. So please advocate for yourself. This is my advocate for yourself spiel. Please do that because again, you're paying tuition at the school, you are owed these things and they cannot make them retroactive, so you have to get it done as soon as possible. And I also, the new system's a bit better. I encourage you to make sure that these accommodations actually function for this class. So you may have other classes where more time for tests or quiet space for tests makes sense. We don't have tests. We have just a slew of assignments that require a certain amount of time, and the information is given out in the way that I have explained to you. So please keep all of that in mind when you are looking to get these accommodations. Um, so let me go back to here. Again, this is a class from a previous semester. Um, but these assignments, they will show up in the assignments section. You can see I've got some pictures of previous, I think those are the final projects. Here's some pictures of these. I will always try to provide examples if I have examples. Sometimes I'll show them in class. Sometimes they'll be kind of listed there, if that's plausible. 3D is a little bit hard to show in pictures. I will also always, the due date is listed here, obviously, and the points possible, but I also like to list it in the description because sometimes we're just scrolling through and we're like, wait, when is it due? If you see one where the due date doesn't look right, or if you hand something in on time and you get a big yellow exclamation point that says, this is late, please tell me. Do know that I know exactly when people hand things in, and I know if it's actually late versus if the system's just being dumb. But it does help me to know ahead of time, and it gives people less stress because I have to manually change all this stuff every semester, so I might miss something. I'm human. So please, 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 just email me. Worst case scenario, it was fine and you just misunderstood, but I'm not going to be mad. So please keep me informed of anything that you see that's being glitchy and weird. Um, Also, I think, do I have anything? Yeah. So when you go to submit stuff on an assignment, and we'll go over this in class a little bit, although again, you all should have done this in your other classes. But whatever assignment it is, you would click on that assignment, and then you can say submission, create submission. Just kidding. I forgot they changed this. Upload files. So you will find your file. Please put your last name on every file. I encourage students to do last name underscore name of thing, whether that's wheel or hammer or midterm, whatever it is that we're doing. But it's really important that your last name go on it. When I download these things, it changes the name of them to gibberish. With your student ID numbers, which I don't know off the top of my head, and the name of the assignment, which is the same for everybody. So it's really important that the file you submit itself, the My file itself, has your name on it. And we'll go over how to change those things in class, but naming your stuff is very, very important. Again, I'll show examples wherever possible. We'll look at them in class. There will be things I say verbally that are maybe not covered here because I don't want these to get too overwhelming. But I also want to include, like, these are the tools we learned. Here's the things I expect you to do. I sometimes say things you should not do. We all get excited. We want to add materials and colors. Maybe we're not supposed to do that right now. Um, Please, if you're looking at the examples and you're like, oh, these are all kind of samey, maybe it's early days and that's why maybe the point of the assignment is to match something. Sometimes that will be the case. Um, Please make sure that whatever the point of the assignment is, that's the thing that you're doing. So if I say I want clean edge loops and clean geometry and no messiness like this, I'm just noticing here. Um, that's what you should be focused on, right? We're excited. It's a new medium, maybe for a lot of us. We're gonna bells and whistles. No, we want to focus on the things that the assignment is asking for because all that other stuff you may not get that much credit for it if you're ignoring the point of the assignment. Um, Also, when it comes to these assignments, as you can see, I am very clear about what I'm wanting. Um, and one of the things that we are trying to encourage the development of in these classes is something we call soft skills. So hard skills are like how to use these tools, how to extrude, how to bevel, how to model, how to animate, right? Those are hard skills. Soft skills are meeting deadlines, communicating, and one of them that I think is really important is being able to critique our own work. So if I provide a number of standards to look at and to try and meet or to pay attention to, if I set a number of expectations, it's on you to look at your file and ask myself, does this meet the expectations of the assignment? Right? Generally, even if I had like one little whoop-de-doo like issue somewhere, does this generally meet the expectations of the assignment? That's a skill, knowing that. So while you can always email me with questions, please email me with questions. And while you can always email me asking how the shape of this is funny. Is it funny? It seems funny to me. Or I'm struggling with this one part, like what am I missing? Or this went glitchy and weird. Always you can email me with that stuff. But what you should never ask me is it done? Is this good enough? That is a skill you need to hone. That is something you need to look at your own work, compare it to the examples I gave you, and go, is this up to where we're going? Um, and it would be for you to decide whether you're handing it in at that point. So I don't give pre-approval of things. All right. So switching gears a little bit. Sorry, this is getting a little bit longer than I wanted. Um, Two last things. The first is attendance. So, attendance is a funny thing in a half virtual world. Being there synchronously is important, but it is not the only thing. So, how do we deal with absences? How do we deal with people who are watching these videos afterwards? Or how do we deal with folks that are just being very quiet in class? So, we're trying something new this semester. We're going to see how it goes. This discussion board is now open. 3D graphics virtual class discussion. Um, this is for to cover a number of bases. So if you are absent from class, first of all, if you're going to be absent from class and you know about it, let me know. I don't need to know why, unless there's a major disruption in your life happening, in which case you should probably talk with your advisor or with the head of our department, Professor Ray. Um, it's not for me to say this is cleared or not cleared. It's just you're either there or you're not there. Um, and there's a certain amount of class time you can miss before it starts affecting your grade, even if you are doing this stuff. But the idea is that if you're absent from class, but you've watched the videos and now you need to do some participation-y stuff, or if you were at class but you're kind of distracted, or maybe you're very quiet, you didn't really participate, or and this is the most common one for me, you thought of your stuff after class. You watch the class and you're like, yeah, okay, and then 10 minutes later you go, oh my god, I have a question. Or I have a comment. Or sometimes people just have links to share because the gears are spinning and they're thinking about stuff. This board is to cover all of that. If you have, if you feel like your participation is not really there that day or ever, then, being in class does get you some of it, but you can post something in here that's a question to everyone. Everyone in class can see all the threads. And so what you would do is you click on this and you say create thread, um, and say, let's see. Whoops, we don't need to yell at anybody. um, right, and you would type in your description. Whoops, your description of what's going on with that tool. Test post again with the caps lock. I am not good. Right. And you would say submit. You can always do save draft, by the way. I'm not I'm a big fan of that. But then, maybe someone makes a post. You can get sort of participation points by posting a thread or by answering someone else's post. We kind of want to start like an offline, like a not offline, but asynchronous discussion that allows folks who are either shy or quieter, more introspective, to be able to get full participation points. Um, Again, maybe they're in class, they're just not like, for some of us, watching the class is taking up all the bandwidth, right? And so your questions come later, participation comes later. That's what this is for. And whether you're posting a question, a comment, um, or answering someone's questions, comment, both of those, all of that can count. I'm not going to be particularly picky about that. And now I have no idea how to how to delete this, because this is nonsense and it shouldn't be here. Edit. Can I let me 1 second? I'll be able to delete it later. I just realized I'm in here as a student. You guys can edit your posts, but not delete them. I can delete things. I also have up there. This is just expectations. And basically it's don't be a jerk. Be polite. The internet stinks in a lot of ways, so we want our corner of it to be positive, right? So be respectful of people and just take it easy. All right, last bit of housekeeping for this video. I posted an announcement that you need to, and it's time sensitive, you need to get your My Education license. If you are working from home, and frankly speaking, even if you're working from the school, it's good to have an account because it just makes it easier. But absolutely, if you're working from home, you have to get this software and it is your responsibility to do so. Um, Now, a couple of things with that. One is you have to sign up using your email address, not your student login ID. Your student login ID is numbers at student.nvcc.edu or something like that. You have an email address that's like numbers, what's the, oh my goodness, initials. I couldn't think of the word initials. So your numbers and initials at mail.ct.id or something like that. That is what you have to use to sign up for my Autodesk Maya. And I have the link right here, or if you search for Autodesk Educational, and it's free for a year. And you can get started there. You sign up, and you can get everything from them for free. If you have a .edu email address, you can get every single piece of software from Maya, AutoCAD, 3ds Mask, Mudbox, you name it, for free for a year. And it's the full software. There's a little warning that says this is made to a student version. That's it. Everything is in there. So it's very, very important. There is something called the Autodesk Maya 30-day trial. Do not download this. Do not use it. If you're struggling to figure out the education thing, email me. Don't do this other thing as a backup. It is a completely different software. In terms of its install. If you do the 30-day free trial and then finally get your education account figured out, you cannot transfer this over there. You don't punch in a number. You have to uninstall this and then install their version. Your files will still work. But there's a lot of stuff missing from the free trial, and I think the files are a little bit different and weird. There's also a Maya LTE. Don't use that. It's this very specific thing that I have a link to, Maya or Autodesk Education. And like I said, it is for you to get that settled. Um, we will be using Maya tomorrow, like the first day. We'll be using it on the first day. And I should probably fix my typos. Um, and we hit the ground running. Um, so it is very important to get that. Now, some of you might watch the class and just watch it and take notes. That's fine. You can click through later. I act as if people are clicking along with me. That is the pace I go with this course because that is what a lot of people do. But if you're someone who needs to write down the instructions for yourself so they're written down, that's fine too. Everyone is going to learn differently with this. It's again, very complicated class, very difficult material. Um, and anything you can do to kind of make it work for you, that as long as you're doing the assignments, that's what we're going to do. All right, so if anyone has any questions, there's my email right there. Please reach out sooner rather than later. Otherwise, I will see you all in the first class.